Hello, everyone. Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. I am Susan Pinsky. Somebody just on Rumble said, is Susan Dr. Drew's wife? Yes, I'm Dr. Drew's wife. I've been his wife for 33 years, and we have known each other for 40 years. I think we're soulmates or something. We met a couple of times before we knew that we were in love. And I do this show on his platform, and I don't mean to scare anybody away, but I like to talk to dead people. So today, our topic is Laurel Canyon. We have some great people here today to discuss the history of Laurel Canyon, the ghosts of Laurel Canyon, starting with our guest, who is a famous actress, Drea De Matteo. She also she was on The Sopranos, among many other things. She's extremely talented, has a company called ultrafree.co. She makes clothing and really cool kind of hip stuff that, I think that the ghost of Laurel Canyon would really love. You can find her at Drea De Matteo and at ultrafree on X and probably anywhere. If you just Google her, you will find her. Hi, Drea. Welcome to Calling Out.
Hi, how you doing? I'm shadow banned everywhere, but you can find me.
Yeah, you can find her. She's. I met her through RFK's event when he was running for president. We were sitting next to each other at an event, and we were just enjoying each other's company, and we became friends after that. So, and she has this really interesting story about where she lives. I got a phone call from someone who's sitting right next to me, Emilie Hagen. She is known as Emily Knows Everything. She's a journalist. She's a comedian. She's an actor or actress.
Still trying to figure it out.
She knows everything, but she doesn't really know everything, apparently, according to her bio. But so she's here, and she said, I want to do a historical view of Laurel Canyon. And I said, since you're young, it's actually historical for you, because you can do a history of Laurel Canyon because you didn't live in that era. Which I did. I don't know if anybody can see, but I have a shirt on that says Queen 75 Tour. I was actually there in 1975. And but anyways, we have had previous guests on the show that were affiliated with that era. And I try to get in touch with them too. But Drea actually fit the bill because she has a historical house. And we're going to look into her home, I guess you would say, spiritually, and see what we can come up with. We have two psychic mediums in the house today. One is a return guest. He is Eddie Connor. He is, you can find him at eddieconnor.com. He's been on the show several times. He's over here working some details out in writing. He's got some birth dates and names of people who are affiliated with Drea, including Drea. And I don't know if I'm explaining this well, but in my world, it's just kind of a weird thing. I think of stuff to do, and how can I use a psychic to investigate or make an entertaining show about the history of I'm not going to say haunted house, but I'm just going to say a house. And then I got a weird text from one of our previous psychic mediums, Lori. She texted me and said, I have this guy who's a really great psychic in New York City. And I was just thinking in my head how I would really like to get a New York-based psychic medium, because we go to New York all the time. And she set me up with this guy, Glenn. You can see his face there. He's a little off center, but hi, Glenn. Welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. Glenn Klausner. He's been in the business for 30 years. He's extremely clairvoyant and psychic. I had a chat with him, and he pulled in some spirits that randomly came into the universe for me, and we had a long discussion. So I I can't really explain it, but I'm sure it'll happen. He's going to pop in after Eddie does a little numerology-based psychic intuitive search into Drea's world. So does this make sense at all? Anybody? Or am I just saying weird shit? Okay. So yeah. So, there are no coincidences in my life. Okay. So Glenn came along and it was very serendipitous that we had this chat. And I just want to bring him in because he's also sort of related to the topic that I think we're going to end up talking about. And I haven't said anything to Eddie about like who lived in your house, anything about it. I haven't told him anything. I just gave him some random names and numbers. And so
paper's filling up fast.
It should all come around full circle. I don't know if I like where Eddie's camera is. Is it okay, Kaleb? Should I fix it? He's a little.
Yeah, I just texted my cat. I just texted Robin to shift it a little bit. Yeah, he's sitting up taller than he was a minute ago.
Oh, I'm cheating.
You might have to lean into the camera a little bit. We're going to fix that. Okay, so anyways, so how do you feel, Eddie? Like, do you want to start with? Sure. Who do you want to start with? Do you want to start with any of those? Is anything popping out to you in all the?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like cray.
Okay, bring the cray on first. We love that.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to say something I'm sure everybody
and hopefully it's not Drea.
It isn't. Drea, how many times do people stop you on the street and say, "Are you Anastasia?"
Anastasia? Who's that?
She's a recording artist. She's flawless. She's beautiful. And you could be her sister.
Oh, thanks. When I was a kid, I used to get chased from Madonna when I was like 19 years old.
Wow. Well,
it's a long time
I'm
ago.
just going to dive in. Yeah, I'm going to dive in. Is that okay?
Dive in. I'm scared.
Okay.
I've been living here for a very long time, and I absolutely never wanted to know a damn thing about anything. But I know there's
too bad.
I know what, because I know the house has a love for me. Anyway, continue.
You said it better than I could have said it. Because the house has a love for you and you appreciate the house, it creates this sort of delicious vortex, which keeps it from being a psychic Ouija board for you and your family. So when you're grounded, and it's funny because you're grounded, but your head is also in the clouds, and you've learned that you had to ground yourself the hard way. Now, the funny thing about you is your life path 3, and that's ultra creative, communicator, connector. It's about charisma. It's about higher consciousness. And you're just surrounded with ones everywhere. That means you like to be the boss 3 times. And yeah. And so I think you've come into a balance with that too. I think when you were younger and you're still young, you would hold steadfast onto your ideas and hardly budge. And now you're more open, you're more curious, you're more inquisitive across the board. Thank you. The number one thing that keeps coming up around you under the creativity part is I couldn't tell because I didn't know you if you were an actor, designer, singer, or a designer of clothes or fabrics, because you're a Jill of all trades and a master of many. And I'm going to jump right over to the property with you in it. So I want to say a couple of things that are weird. First of all, because you have more ideas than you have time to implement them, you have to sift through them and pick the ones you love the best and put the other ones in a sort of Dewey Decimal System for, I don't know, your 5th life from now. And then you'll get to them. You're going to pick up where you left off. They're telling me you're super, super powerful. And are you better now about not being as argumentative as you used to be?
Yes. I mean, it depends on the topic. It depends on the people. It depends on the politics.
There you go. Well, you're right more times than not, because you're not a person who just hears something and believes it. You'll do your due diligence. You'll do your research. You'll look at the ugly. You'll look at the beautiful part, and then you come to your own hypotheses with it. And you don't understand why more people aren't like that. And you don't like lazy people in general. That means lazy thinking, lazy acting, or lazy doing. Because, girl, you'll cut them. You know what I'm saying? You're cute, but you'll cut. Okay. And then, so I'm going to go right to the property. There is a shadow figure there. Sometimes people don't like to hear shadow figure because they automatically assume it's a negative, bad, or scary thing. But there is a shadow figure. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's there. To me, it doesn't feel negative, bad, or scary. I do get the feeling that there's either a little boy or little girl energy associated with this property. Again, I don't know if you've ever seen it or heard it. And then there's a dead cat or dead puppy too. And so I don't think of them as dead because they're not, quote, trapped in any way, shape, or form, but they sort of come through. Now, part of the reason for the energy, the coming through energy, is because the location is where it is outside of Laurel Canyon. And the other thing with it is because it gets so much attention historically. Oh, can you hear?
That the dogs just went bananas. By the way, no one ever rings the doorbell, which is totally weird. I'm going to close the door. Hold.
Right when you mention another dog.
That's so weird.
That's crazy.
I love my job.
I mean, were you just
perfect.
talking about the dog when that happened?
Literally.
Yes. And so there's a dog or a cat that's a spirit kitty or puppy on the property that comes and goes. And because of the nature of the location where you live and because the person associated with it is historical, what ends up happening is people think of that person often. And when they think of that person and they think of that property specifically, it's like when we're driving down the road and we think of our mom who's in spirit and our mother in spirit can hear us. So when the whole world is thinking about this location or the person who used to be associated with it, their energy will teleport in and out of that property and almost create a little bit of a psychic Ouija board. The thing I like about you is you're strong, and you don't put up with shit. And because of that, and you're very aesthetic, they're saying as well, you like things a certain way. And it doesn't mean it has to be your way or the highway. You like it a certain way because if it flows, if it's pretty, if it's aesthetic, then your mind feels a little bit more peaceful and your heart also feels a little happier. When your mind and your heart are happy, you can conquer the universe. Thank you. They're also saying New York, New York, New York. Don't know what it means, but it's tied to you in a big, big, strong sense. Now, let me go back to this little boy or little girl on the property. Now, I'm going to ask you a private question. You don't have to answer it, but did you have a miscarriage by chance?
Yes. But I was in New York when it happened.
There it is. And that child is associated with you on this property, watching out for you. Now, they're separate from this soul connected to you. There is also a dead little boy or dead little girl on this property from a long time ago. I heard fire, fire, fire. So there had to be a fire somewhere, like fire. And you know what they just told me? They said it was set deliberately, but it was made to look like an accident. So it doesn't necessarily have to be on your property. It could have affected your property. And so there's a wandering child, and your child in spirit watches after that child and says, this isn't the place for you to be, and I'm going to walk you to where you need to go. And that child also will work with the puppy or the kitty cat as well. By the way, do you have one dog that has a B or L in its name?
Yes, the little one is Blanky. BL, Blanky. I'm going to freak out now.
The BL dog is the one that is on high alert with the ghost dog or the ghost cat. And then your child in spirit is like, calm the F down, bitch. Because sometimes Blanky wants to be the pack leader and you're like, not today, Satan. Now, this is a weird thing. There's also a hitchhiking ghost that goes past your house and it goes up Laurel Canyon and down Laurel Canyon. And sometimes it will pop over into properties where people are intuitive or connected or who have a lot of light. Now, because you're grounded, and you're also woo and woo and woo, you're the best of both worlds.
Right.
So when you start to feel something that feels a little ominous or disconnected or not as pure of the light, you will vibrate that person, that being out. There's also something, did you have a dead tree on the property you had to take care of or fix or cut or trim or get rid of it?
I got rid of 3. Enormous. They were huge, massive. I didn't want to.
That's painful.
And I didn't think they needed to go. And people convinced me that they would fall on my daughter's bedroom.
That's exactly right. Look, I swear that it would have. There was no way it could have not done it. And I'm not joking when I say this. Even the trees themselves said, you're going to have to do something here. No joke. Do you have 2 refrigerators?
Now 3. We just got another one.
Okay. I'm not joking. Blanky said they have another refrigerator, and I just assumed you had 2.
Blanky, the dog's talking to him.
And I cannot believe that motherfucker's running the show. But I thought that he was one of my best friends reincarnated, one of my exes, kind of.
What's that ex's name? Can you say it? Do you feel comfortable saying it?
Sure. I mean, he was really a friend. He was more of a friend. So I'm probably going to get myself in trouble right now. His name was Jamie.
Jamie. Okay, yeah. I'm hearing somebody named Zach that has been through this property or on this property that might have stirred some shit up. So that'll be a man with a Z or K sound. First name, last name, nickname, or middle name. And then there's an Oscar. I don't know who that is, though. I don't know how there's an Oscar, a male named Oscar associated with you or the property as well.
Did you get an Oscar?
Yeah.
Oh, did you? Did she?
Me? Do I have an Oscar?
Yeah. Did you get an Oscar?
Oh, an Oscar. No. I have an Emmy. Is there do you know anybody named Emmy hanging out in the house?
Emmy.
Okay. What? No.
Zach and Oscar. We're going to put those names down.
We are. And Barry, there's a BR male. Okay. And then is there twin energy associated with you or one of your children?
Twin. No.
Twin energy. Okay. Interesting. There's twin energy floating around you. And I just heard a woman named Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a woman with M, as in Michelle, CS, and double L's. Any way, shape, or form, those will be the primary consonants in her name, and twin energy. And it's right around the corner, and it's on the heels of an anniversary of either you or this female association with an MCSL double L.
Okay.
It's crazy.
Oh, wait.
You got a big old contract coming.
Wait, can you wait?
Okay.
The contract sounds great, but I have a feeling I know what you're talking about, but it's not coming fully together.
Okay.
Say that. What was that again?
Michelle.
M, the letters M, CSZ is one sound, L, double L's, like Michelle, Sheila, Michelle. She's a recording artist from back in the day. But M's, C's, S's can sound like a Z, L or double L, female, first name, last name, nickname, or middle name. Anniversary energy around them. And there's something about close to a birthday of a little person, like a child. I learned to not say little person on this show. So a child coming up, 10. How old's your daughter?
I mean, I don't know if I'm supposed to say anything yet, Susan. Maybe I wait until later about some of those things.
I think you know what we're talking about. I think it has something to do with maybe the previous owner, right? These names that are coming through.
Well, it's not an owner, but there's an interesting correlation to the story of the house of one of the famous people that were in this house.
Right.
But I can wait.
It's sort of, hold off. I'm writing down the names because.
Okay.
Okay.
But that's interesting. I mean, I think that's getting close to some of that too. I mean, all of it is. Holy shit.
For sure.
Anyway, continue.
Definitely.
Tell me about my contract, will you please?
You're going to have 2, and they're going to be really close to each other within 1 month, 1 to 6 days, 1 to 6 months. And they could be compounded contracts where let's say you're going to do a show, but they're going to really market the heaven out of it with merchandise. And you will make more money on the merchandising licensing than you will actually for being connected to the show or the product or the event. And you got them right next to each other. This will happen before June, July of 2025. Oh, you're going to Europe. Do you know that?
Can I come too?
You know, I was going to China and I just begged my family to let us just do Europe instead. And I think that they agreed.
Oh, good. Yeah, forget China.
They'll be grateful that they did.
China's not as good.
Yeah.
If it's a vacation, I don't know.
Be careful on the stairs outside. There's some missing lights on the stairs outside that need to be replaced or fixed. And you have to be extra careful because when the sprinklers go off or it's early in the morning, it's a little damp or slick, people will bust a tukukas on those stairs because they feel like they're steel or steel. I'm so stupid. They're stone or pavement or tile. There's something, it will hurt. And then there's something wonky with your mailbox. You might have had to fix it, fix the number, fix the door, do something weird with the mailbox, even if it's on the side of your house. And then there is a person who will stand out there where those trees used to be, Native American energy, and watches over your property.
Wow.
But you don't have creepy shit because you're not a creepy shit kind of person. But there's some weird stuff in that whole area. Secrets, lies. And you're divinely protected because you don't play with the spirit world, girl. You don't play.
No, she doesn't. And you're kind of blowing her away right now because she didn't really want a psychic reading, but she got one anyways.
Oh.
I never did.
Do you have a scar or birthmark or tattoo right in the front here on the chest, the neck, the shoulders, or the back?
Who, me?
Scar, birthmark, or tattoo?
Oh.
And here we go, guys.
Whoa. Literally nailed it.
Okay. Oh my God. I'm psychic.
Thank you, Drea. My numbers just went up.
I think Addie's subscribed to the OnlyFans.
I think my face is red. Christmas green, Christmas red.
Thank you. Bring those numbers up. But they just doubled over an X.
In the afternoon, never hurt anybody.
By the way,
That was a marketing trick.
yeah. And then there's a girlfriend or female family member. I'm just going to be ballsy blunt. Is that okay?
I mean, that's the only way to be with me.
Okay, super bitchy, super entitled, they know everything, and I think they feel more like a friend from the past. They're good people. They're really good people, but they're really insecure, but they play it off like it's either passive aggressive or rude or curt or sharp. And they're going to come back into your life. They've changed. You wouldn't let them back in your life the way that they were. And it's a woman. She could have L's in her name or C's, S's, Z's, or K's in her name, first name, last name, nickname, or middle name. But she's coming back from your past. And I think she's turned over a new leaf. And you would give her the time of day. She would have to apologize this much, and you would probably need to apologize about that much. And then it could start fresh, and it'll be comfortable moving forward, but it won't ever be the way that it was or the way you thought it was before. She's good. She's learned a lot. She's in therapy, honey. Okay.
Wow, so interesting.
I know.
Does she have wigs? Do you have wigs?
No, but my hair
wigs
is
in it?
extensions. I have extensions in my hair, but no wig.
I didn't know that. It looks so good.
I thought it was real.
Thanks.
Yeah, it looks great.
You guys can
Let's
go
cut that
it's
part
right
out.
here.
Yeah.
Post. Just kidding.
Extension Bar
Yeah,
LA
there's-
is it's called.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Little plug. We should probably get them as a sponsor
There
now.
you go.
Drea,
Do you have any questions?
wait, Drea, say that again.
Well, yes, I do. I want to know if the dog spirit is my dog, is one of my dogs. I've had many.
What's the dog's name you think it is?
Well, the dogs that died here were Cyrus and Charlie.
No.
Oh,
No.
damn it.
It isn't. They're around. Don't get me wrong. They're around,
Okay.
but it isn't them. They will come and go, but it's not one of them. It's a previous owner.
I want to know about the fire. Do we know about any fires in this?
When I was researching today, what you said is exactly what is happening. They said all these deaths on Laurel Canyon, they made it look like accidents, but it was deliberate. And that's literally what you said. That was interesting. A lot of these like unsolved mystery deaths.
You know what they showed when I saw
Fake
that?
suicides.
They literally showed me, and it was a cover up. I heard cover up.
Yeah, a lot of cover up.
And, the Paradise fires in California and the Lahaina fires in Hawaii were not organic or natural in any capacity. And that's what they showed me when they showed me a fire that was made to look like an accident, but it was deliberately set. So I didn't
Apparently,
know.
so many of the deaths on Laurel Canyon are deliberate, but they made it look like these people were killing themselves. But they'd have they said they had a bullet in their head, but they were like, it's a suicide.
In the back of their head.
Yeah.
Like 3 times.
So many unsolved mysteries. I was like, I don't have time to research them all. There's so many.
But here's the perfect example. I have to say this to you, Drea, because other people who aren't as grounded and as awake, as connected, and as tuned into her soul and the soul of that property would not be having this kind of an experience. They would move in, shit their pants, and move out.
That's so true. I was
They
thinking Drea is probably one of the only people that can live on Laurel Canyon and not be affected spiritually.
Yep.
A lot of people I know say it's like the worst they've ever had, but Drea is so grounded that it's fine.
Yeah, even me, I've been doing this for 30 years. When I would drive up through Laurel Canyon, I'm like, how the hell do these people live here? And I know a lot of people there. So I love them, but Laurel Canyon gives me the yin yangs.
Well, the reason why I picked this subject was I was looking at that Rothschild death in Laurel Canyon. And they said that the guy wasn't even really a Rothschild. His last name was Kaufman. But anyways, I said, I was looking at the fire and I said, this is a mysterious death, blah, blah, blah. And then there was something on there about a famous rock star that might have lived in that house. And I happen to know her daughter. And so anyways, that's how I got to this topic. Anyways, it happened to do with a fire in Laurel Canyon. So, and the house belonged to somebody who might have been owned by somebody who I actually know I've had on the show before. She's actually been on this show before.
You're being so cryptic and it's so
I know.
mysterious.
What are you saying, Susan?
I know we're all.
My house?
Okay. No, you're not your house. The Rothschild house. There was some kind of a connection to somebody, a spirit that had been on the show before. So I reached out to the family and they said, they couldn't come on the show because they had another death in the family recently who was related. But anyways, it might be interesting to, since we are going down that road, to look at one of the other people on the list that are that I gave you with the birth date. And I believe let me double check. I have to.
By the way, Susan,
I
I heard that that house, that Rothschild guy, first of all, because I know people, obviously, he was dating, I think it's Budget or Dollar, this old lady who lives in this crazy gothic looking house. He'd been dating her forever. And the word on the street was that he murdered his wife in Italy like a bazillion years ago. But that's,
he became a recluse.
I don't know what the story is, because if he's not a Rothschild, but then they said he is, but it's not with an S, so it's not the same family.
No.
There's like all these crazy
his
stories.
last name was Kaufman and he disappeared. But he changed his name to Rothschild. But anyways, the name that I think that you should look at is Ellen Naomi Cohen. Since we're talking about Jewish last names, so let's bring up another one.
Okay. Hold on a second.
Those Jews in Laurel Canyon, you never know.
I mean,
But she was September 19th, 1941. Yeah, and so then the other one was the Dennis Gerard Stephen. That one, I don't know if you worked those ones.
I was sitting on the freeway.
Oh, you were? Okay.
It also makes sense, Drea, as a 3 numerology. Like so many actors actors and actors are always 3s.
I think we should
Once I found out I wasn't a 3, I'm like, I'm done with acting. This is why I couldn't make it. I'm not a 3.
What's your number?
8.
Oh,
I'm
8.
supposed to be in business, right?
In business, even if it's acting, because you're channeling heaven, expanded consciousness, creativity, imagination, other characters' consciousness into your earthly body.
Yeah, I can be around them, but like 3s are always killing it on screen.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody
I
just
don't
said you
feel like
danced for a
3
minute.
man.
Oh,
Did you dance for a minute?
I don't feel like
When I was young.
Like in a go-go cage or something? I did too, girl. Okay.
No.
Tips.
When I was young,
No, I
wanted
did.
to be like a.
I was
wanted
cute.
to be
you were you were
I
on the
wanted to do
pole.
musical
Dancing in a
theater.
cage. Oh,
So I'm trying to figure out if we should. I'm trying to figure out how to segue this into. Do you want a previous owner that owned the house, Eddie?
sure.
So do the dentist one.
Okay.
That would be
Wait, is this someone
Just
who
to see
owns
if you
this
can-
house?
yes, your house.
Okay.
Wait, so did
Secret,
you
secret,
So you
research
found all the
that?
info? Susan, how did you find all these homeowners?
Drea's like, you were
you have, like-
researching my house?
You have the house
You
titles?
you told me
I've
because you
always
told me,
wanted to do
Drea.
this. No, I didn't know you were going to get like the other like people that I've never even heard of before. I'm
Yeah,
so
we need to know the
freaking
energy of
excited.
the previous.
I want to talk to dead people. They
There was a
used to live
dentist that lived here.
No, they're dead people. You
Dennis.
Dennis, not a dentist.
Yeah, I think so.
He was a gynecologist. I'm joking.
Was
I
he?
don't know what he was. I don't
No.
know.
No.
That would be
Do you want me
wouldn't
to
want a
not
guy
say who
knowing
lived there
Laurel
before?
Canyon.
Is that a bad
Oh,
idea?
I do. I
Have
want to know the
spiritual
people, especially
spiders
the
on
ones
there.
I don't know. Yeah.
Wait, I thought you told me that it was owned by a dentist.
No.
Are you
I
sure
thought
you
maybe
didn't channel
you went
this
to
when
the
you were
city.
getting haunted last week?
I don't know. Maybe I was
That's something we
drunk
need
or
to get
something.
into
No.
at some point during the episode. Susan was sending me some pretty cryptic messages all week while
Okay.
exploring this topic.
Doherty.
Denny Doherty.
Dohherty.
Yes.
I wonder if he was a womanizer. You know why I asked that question?
He in the name?
Her.
Was he a womanizer? Why?
Because he has her in his last name.
Oh,
And he's
do her.
an 11. Yeah, do
All the
her.
master numbers they're always womanizers. The
It's
11s.
if they're not doing their work,
Either
they are
creative or having orgies and
egotistical. They're always like, their way or the highway. So
Kanye's 11.
Is he?
Yeah, of
born
course.
on a 4-day.
Mm.
Beyonce on a 4-day. Jay-Z on a 4-day.
Ye's an 8 and born on an 8-day.
Jay's a what?
A womanizer. Okay.
Beyonce and Jay-Z are 4s.
So
born
do you-
on 4s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do
Kanye
you know
8.
who Denny Doherty is?
Same as Joan Rivers.
I don't.
Okay. All right. Good.
But what's your question?
So previous, I don't know. But
Do you know
anyways,
when he lived there?
He's not on the property. There's secrets that he knew about that's tied to what feels like military, musical military
That's all it is.
brainstorming to get a hidden agenda out to the mass across the country. Okay, now
You researched this.
I'm going to say crazy. No, military bases
I just
and
told him.
UFOs, and then I heard MK Ultra, and I was
That's
like,
exactly
"This
where
is
it came from.
BS." And then they showed me tunnels.
tunnels.
And then I thought P. Diddy, allegedly. And then I went and looked.
And you saw it was all.
Yes, it's all there. You will not be negatively affected by any of this because
I know.
there are tunnels here. But
They always say the tunnels are near Sunset Strip. And doesn't Laurel kind of go into Sunset Strip?
those tunnels run all the way to Long Beach Harbor.
I get the same energy at Laurel Canyon that I get when I'm at the Comedy Store. There's this really underbelly of darkness.
In the Magic Castle.
It's very, same
Magic
aesthetic.
Castle, yeah.
Yeah, and allegedly the Playboy Mansion. And whenever they're excavating that now, and they're saying the tunnels run to all the local houses, to all the A-list stars.
Tunnels could be another episode because
I know.
that's a whole project.
I
was
just
supposed to
learned
be
about
doing
the
for Jess.
tunnels.
And they're
Yeah.
they're legit.
I
They're
did not
legit.
tell
What do you
him
think's down there,
anything,
Eddie?
Drea. I swear on my mother's grave.
What do you
The
think?
Houdini house is the tunnel. Supposedly there are People think that house is haunted, but it's actually not. Supposedly, it was some type of water passageway underneath the house that made people feel like there was a haunting. In New York, too, there's all of these, like where water used to run under the streets, and people would think it was energy, but it was water. I don't know.
It's sometimes, but you're spot on, because the water will affect people that way, because water is movement, water in motion. The body is composed of water, emotion, motions, movement, energy. So when you have it going under your feet like that in a tunnel and you're living above it and you're disconnected, it will throw you off and it will cause you to see, feel, sense things that aren't there. But there is, separate from what you said, there is in addendum also some creepy, secretive, I'm going to use the word government cover up.
Government cover up.
Listen, they're showing me Stranger Things.
Stranger
Should we get
Things.
into Lookout Mountain?
Okay.
Did you look at that, Susan, at all?
No.
So yeah, the Lookout Mountain was the Air Force station that was created in 1941, and that's where all of the people think, conspiracy theorists think that's where they recorded the moon landing video, and that's where Jared Leto is currently living. So there's a whole book on this, just about.
I think he's an 11-8, Jared.
Really? I avoid 11-8s. They're so powerful.
I'm an 11-8.
You are?
I'm not powerful.
Bye.
You're
I was
very
in traffic.
Well, so it was a 50,000 square foot facility where they were using as an air defense center during World War II. Walt Disney himself said that the government funded a lot of his stuff during World War II, and now we're seeing it. So they would film a lot of things on 35 millimeter, and they would do color and black and white. So they put out so many projects, and then there's a lot of bands in Laurel Canyon, and people don't know where these bands recorded their music, and some people believe that they might have recorded it at this Air Force station.
What?
So the government was literally putting out content. They were like content creators. It was like a content house for the government, basically.
And that's why before TV became super, super popular, I know the government was using those studios to put the propaganda films out
Yeah, it's a propaganda house.
to tell all the people in the movie studios, this is what's going on in Italy and Poland.
They did it to scare Russia, too.
Does this sound familiar?
I mean, sure, Drea knows about the Jared Leto house. I'm sure she knows.
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
Have you went?
Of course. And they still, there's,
tell us
if you
about
go
it.
up the mountain, there are little airplanes. If you're driving through, you'll see little airplanes painted on the curbs, pointing towards the Air Force, which is his house. I mean, he's in that house. It's like 15 acres up here. I don't understand
huge.
how. Yeah, it's a strange
50,000
space.
square feet, and Jared Leto's just wandering around with his
Well,
long hair,
but-
straggling long hair.
But every base has something under the ground. Every base.
Right.
So there has to be
Except the
something
very top.
underground.
I mean,
a
if there's
bunker.
a tunnel anywhere, it's definitely leading there, right?
It's a bunker,
Oh, yeah.
so you can hide down there. Airproof.
Yeah. We love Jared Leto.
Of course we do. He's awesome.
He is.
Hey, he could afford that place.
Drea, do you
It's
know
so fun.
Jared Leto? Have you like hung out
I
with him
don't
at his
know him
house? Does he
personally.
throw house?
Nope,
I
I'm
met
the
him
one who
once.
throws
So he's
the
not
fucking
throwing house
party.
parties right now?
Nope, just this house. This is the party house for years.
You got it.
You don't know him.
So
We have,
okay,
like,
look at
yeah, we don't know.
look at the other one. Look at the Cohen woman.
Okay. What's the question with her? Yeah.
Her, I want to bring the other psychic king too.
Oh, yes,
At
please.
some point, yeah, because I want you to go over to the Cohen, Ellen Naomi Cohen, born September 19th, 1941.
I know why you're really interested in this, and I just saw who it was. Susan was being hot.
Wait,
Can I
wait,
say
wait!
it?
You
Oh,
gotta
okay.
wait.
Okay.
We gotta see. I don't see. Eddie doesn't know anything.
Oh, he
I-
doesn't?
I-
Oh, you want to
Neither do
see
I.
if he figures it out?
Psychically, he'll.
No. I know two personalities,
Right.
meaning there's the name, then there's the face of a public persona. Sadness.
Mhm.
There's a lot of sadness. And I feel like misunderstood. And I feel like I feel like I'm mad that people made shit up about me.
Mm.
And I also feel like if people knew the truth, the real truth, and I feel like they're literally saying, and they're going too soon, and she'll be vindicated. Because I almost feel like she was handled
Yeah.
I almost feel like she was being puppeted against her wishes. And then she wanted to break out and do whatever her own thing was. And I feel like she probably got to do that, but it was a tight leash. And when she decided she wasn't going to play the game anymore, do you know if she went overseas to get away?
No, I don't.
The reason I'm asking is because she was trying to go overseas
Probably
to find
not.
somebody else to connect with that could emancipate her from the oppressive
Right.
machine.
How was she affiliated with the house, though?
Oh, child, I don't know. But she's not haunting it.
No.
She's not negatively. You know what it is? I know. Thank you for asking. It's almost like they're protecting people who did the things they did when they were alive from bullshit. It's almost like they're part of almost like a healing energy or vortex around. It's still where they can go and get away from the stuff people are still saying about them today that don't know what they're talking about. But there's a sadness, but there's a joy, and then there's a sadness. And it's funny because there are 7 genius mentality in their creativity, and they were born to lead. But then when they were born in the year of home and family, so whenever family, if they had a family, then that's where their focus went. That was their number one thing, but they struggled with it, and then they leave
Right.
early.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
did. She left early.
Keep saying, see, I know you're going to Europe, but I literally feel like she wanted to get the truth out before she left. She'll get it. She's going to get the last word.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to hear. I want to hear you. You're. How?
You know who
I
that
can't
is?
remember your name.
You know
we
who
need
that
to hear
is,
you
though?
speak.
Eddie.
No, Eddie. Okay.
What? I'm sorry.
She wants to hear more.
Oh.
So, okay. So what we just did is the original owner who told you about all the military info and the music and how they were sending out a message was in the Mamas and the Papas. So, and this woman was Mama Cass, who died early when she was, 31, 32.
Oh my.
Yeah. So this is her album. So I want to bring the other psychic in, who's been very quietly behind the
Patient and
scenes.
Wonderful.
Hi, this is my friend Glenn Klausner. He is psychic medium. I had a discussion with him this week because I said, you were sent to me by another clairvoyant for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why. And he said that he had just recently done a reading for somebody, and Mama Cass was coming through, and he didn't know why. And I said, well, I think she wants to be on my show. So yesterday or the day before yesterday, he was at a flea market and found that album. It just popped up in his sphere of reference here, and he texted to me. But anyways, there's a reason he's here. I think he was supposed to come on and talk to Drea about her house and the people that lived in it before and we had a kind of a fun conversation. But welcome to Calling Out with Susan Pinsky. What do you think, Glenn?
Well, thank you for having me on, Susan, and hello to everybody that's here.
Hi.
And to Drea, actually, I just saw your friend Michael, aka Christopher, the other day as I was coming out of Strawberry Fields for John Lennon's anniversary of his passing, and him and his wife were walking in, and we said hello to each other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's a small world. But the record, the Mama Cass album that I actually saw at the flea market here on the Upper West Side of New York City where I live, I happened to be going through this one bin, and this was the day after that. Actually, was the day after that Susan and I had spoken. When it was through that record bin, there was the album of Cass, of that great song, Make Your Own Music. But interestingly enough, first of all, Eddie, to give him credit here, not knowing who Ellen is, which is Cass, she did pass in England. Okay, he said Europe, so she did actually pass away there. Just to give him that validity. Yeah, and the L's, when you were picking up about two children in that house, also there's a little girl. I was seeing this actually before doing us going live. I saw a little boy and a little girl, and the little girl had maybe it's about 100, maybe 80, 90 years ago, maybe even closer to 100 years ago. Because she looks more in black and white to me, she reminded me of like a little Shirley Temple, kind of with that curly hair. And I saw her having these pillow fights with this little boy, which maybe they were siblings. And the L's thing that you were saying, when you mentioned Michelle, I got a totally different L, like a triple L kind of a name that's of a woman who's deceased. Like, I'm trying to think like Lily, or, I'm trying to think like any name, Lucille, Lily, like something that would be a female with triple L names that might have had something to do with Drea's house.
There
but
was
I don't
a
think.
Lucille.
Okay, but I'll just tell you that I don't feel that individual is haunting the home. I do think she's energetically maybe even safeguarding it a little bit more. But I agree with you, Eddie, that there's no energy that is like, there's some homes, as you know, that are really like haunted and people can get very seriously affected. And luckily for Drea that she doesn't have that. So I do agree with you on that. The thing about Cass, which is very interesting, when I had did the reading that I had done about a month ago, where I have never channeled Cass for anybody. I don't know anybody affiliated to her. I was actually born days after Jim Morrison died. And so I am a fan of the Mamas and Papas music, but I really don't know a lot of history about them outside of a few little things like what happened with John Phillips and the passing, where Mama Cass did pass in England. She was actually doing shows there. So what's interesting, when she came through the reading that I had been doing, what she was actually talking about was the divine feminine and the goddess energy that all of us have within us, because we all have male and female, obviously having a mother and a father. And that was really pretty much what she was talking about. But what's interesting, what Eddie had said that she had been talking to him through a few moments ago was very fascinating. But she didn't reveal any of that to me when I was conversating with her, as well as when Susan and I were talking the other day and she had come through to me and giving messages. But your home is actually very nice. And it's interesting, though, about the little girl that I see that had the pillow fight in your house is definitely not the child that wasn't born. And there's also a male coming through to me that is like a father figure. And I do think he had diabetes issues. And he actually, because I can see it, and I see the word diabetes in my head, and I see this, he's a white male, but and I don't know if that deals with Denny Doherty, because I'm not sure how he actually passed. I know it's been a while ago, and I know Michelle Phillips is the only surviving person from that band, the original lineup of that band anyway. But there is a male coming through to me that is showing me diabetes, and he kind of, I feel like, very, very deep voice, very like, almost authoritative. Like when I think of like guys like Pavarotti, that very deep, commanding voice. So hello, but
musician.
I'm not sure if he's related to anybody that's here, but he seems to be very a little bit of a good nosy body. So checking in and. I do think, I don't know if he and a son had a falling out, or there's about a father-son falling out situation that maybe didn't get repaired. And there's another thing that came to me when you were talking about the Rothschild situation, Susan.
Mm-hmm.
So if you know what a young Burt Reynolds looks like when he was, I forget the name of that, I think it's called The Longest Yard, that football movie that he had done. And so this is without a mustache. I don't know if the guy that had murdered his wife looks like a young Burt Reynolds, but there's some spirit that, unless he's one of those floater bys that goes by Drea's property, but he doesn't live there, you can check and see if there was somebody that looked like a young, with that same dark hair, that comb over, very similar looking to a young Burt Reynolds. That guy is definitely deceased. I mean, I know Burt Reynolds is deceased too, but this is not the real Burt Reynolds. This is somebody who looks like him. Thank God for pop culture references sometimes. That actually helps me. And so, but there's also...
John Phillips look like a young Burt Reynolds?
No, I wouldn't say that. I would have seen John Phillips very easily. But no, I think this guy may be tied to that Rothschild situation that you were talking about before. Or the fires that you were talking about. I think that this particular guy, when you're talking about people who, like when Emily was talking about people who've been mysteriously murdered in that area, this guy may have been the guy doing the job, if you will.
Oh,
Whoa.
Glenn, I'm going to jump right in with you and piggyback on this. When you said that, I literally saw whoever was in command or in charge, and it's secret agencies, governmental agencies, and they were like, it's going to go down at this time, and this is the way it's going to go out. The fire will start from the left to the right, then down the street at this exact time. And then you people, they send out the little ants to go pick them off one at a time as the fire started coming down the hill. So it was all orchestrated. And I feel like what you're saying is so spot on because my hair is standing up on
Wait a minute. That guy. hold on a second. I'm sorry, Eddie. Eddie, see this guy?
Yes.
That to me, okay, that's a that's why I said it's so great that when there's pop culture references, especially from being from our generation, and I can describe somebody like that young Burt Reynolds, that guy, who was that guy in the paper? Who was that?
The one that died. Is that the Rothschild guy?
Yes, this is the millionaire in Los Angeles who was killed in the fire, who was posing as a member of the Rothschild dynasty, but apparently wasn't actually.
This is crazy.
Wow, but you look at this picture. Bring this picture back again for a second. Now pull up Burt Reynolds in the youngest. I'm sorry, not the youngest yard. the longest yard. It kind of is. It's funny. There's an uncanny similar reference. I'm looking at that guy walking around.
Look at Dre's face.
I'm finding it. 1 second. Let's see.
But he's not hanging out in Drea, just so you know. Don't worry, he's not hanging out in your house. He may have had
he's
some.
The reason why I decided to do the show. I saw the article and I went, Mama Cass may have lived in his house. Then I said, I should call Owen, Owen Elliott is Mama Cass's daughter. So she that's how I went down this rabbit hole. And then Emilie.
Was I simultaneously having the same experience? Yeah, because I saw the article. I've been wanting to write a piece on Laurel Canyon, but it was too evergreen content. So I texted Dre's friend, Jessica Reed Krause, and once that Rothschild thing happened, and she goes, yeah, it's time to run the article. Mm-hmm. So then I think you text me, and then we're like, it's time to do Laurel Canyon.
I know. So that's where we are. We just did a psychic introspective into the ghost of Laurel Canyon, and maybe now you have something more to write about in your article.
Well, that's why I've been pushing it off. I was like, I'm going to wait till today, and then I can include things from this episode.
And Glenn, isn't he super transient looking, even at an early Burt Reynolds-esque age?
He looks like an assassin or something.
He literally
looks like the guy that just killed the CEO, kind of.
John Hinckley. He's got
assassins written all over his face.
Yeah, assassins are always attractive.
Often.
He I kind of feel like
Luigi.
He's gorgeous.
Well, I think that this guy may have had a little bit of also. He does a little bit, but he may have had some shady kind of thing also. This guy. And actually, there's I realize that especially in life in general, that a lot of people sometimes have multiple love affairs and with multiple partners. And of course, talking about the music business in the 1960s when it was all really, even 1970s and 1980s, very relevant out there. But the energy of Drea's home actually feels, and I'm not saying because she's here and because if she's put in love, I agree with that, with what you had said before, Eddie. I think that house just has so much love enveloping it that when you have these lower level energies that sometimes don't fully cross over and they like to be called earthbound spirits, they may just kind of prance around the perimeter of her home, but they're definitely not hanging out there and having a snack or anything.
That's right.
We call this place the
when you said hang
vortex,
do you have more than one set of picnic tables or patio furniture, more than one set? Did you have to move one from near the trees?
There's too many wood patio tables. We actually just got rid of one, but we still can't throw it out. We just moved it. Okay.
This is funny, Glenn, when you said that they're not like hanging out and having a snack or something. Literally, whoever you were tuning into said, yeah, she moved our tables. That's why.
That's fine.
Yeah. The only thing is the one woman that I picked up on that I said with those L names that has L's in her name. I'm looking at her like, kind of like this very smoky kind of thing, like darling. She's not Zsa Zsa Gabor, but it reminds me of this sort of same attitude. Yeah, whoever this, if it's
Lucille.
that Lucille
Okay,
or
so
Lily name.
that makes total sense. Go over to Lucille.
And just walking,
Lucille
and
is-
just walking like this, like walking through the house. Like
I don't know.
the voice almost
Okay,
reminds me of Zsa Zsa Gabor in some weird way.
Here's the name. Do you want to hear the name? This will make
No,
sense.
no, I don't want it to cloud me.
Whoa.
Okay, it's a very long European.
There's the 3 L's.
It's Lucille, and then middle name V, last name L.
No.
3 L's.
Just don't say it out because I don't want it to,
Okay, yeah, no, and definitely.
But I don't get the impression it's
I
I don't get the impression it's Lucille. I'm sorry. I want to say I didn't get the impression
No,
it's
it's not
Lucille
Lucille
Ball
Ball.
though.
No. She had a stage name, and but she was
That's where the
a
E's are.
famous. Oh, she won the first Oscar.
Whoa. That's where you
I
got
That's
forgot
right.
about that.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
right.
I just got the chills.
I forgot
Okay.
too.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay, so she owned the house. She was the first owner of the house, and she won the first silent film female role in
Oh
a
my God.
Oscar.
That is
I don't know if I said that
chilling.
right. The first Oscar for a female role in a silent film, which is kind of a coincidence because my mother-in-law dated a silent film actor before he married my husband's.
She lived there.
But she lived there, yeah.
Okay. So this is a perfect example, Glenn. Piggyback with me here. So if Lucille,
Yes.
lived there, if she weren't grounded, then she could have tipped over into manic episodes, bipolar episodes, alcohol, or drugs, or all of the above.
I agree with that.
If she weren't as balanced and as grounded as Drea, and then it would throw
The
her
house
off
help.
Wait, that
center.
is insane because this whole time you've been talking to Drea, I was thinking there's no way I could live in that house because the one time I lived in a haunted house, I think I became bipolar, manic, and I got into drugs. I pulled a Britney, like I dyed my hair blonde. I couldn't handle it. Like it literally sucked me in. I couldn't distinguish what's real, what's not real. There was so much disillusion.
Wow.
And every time I go to Laurel Canyon, I get sucked into the weirdest things. And I'm thinking, I didn't realize it was mental illness too.
Oh,
Now I'm like, is our mental illness, is it just based on environment? Like where does it?
it can be both, but if it definitely environmental
The
too.
second I got out of the house, I was not
You-
bipolar.
yeah. No, yeah, I know.
That's so
Interesting.
bizarre.
What do you think, Glenn?
Well, you're empathic, so you're feeling energy.
Well, I totally-
Yeah.
Well, I totally agree with that, and I'm sure Drea probably
Try
could
to let
relate
it
to
kill
this
me.
because of New York, and New York City is a good example of this too. Because I go through it walking around here in Manhattan, where I can just feel a myriad of energies. Go into a grocery store, and I can feel lively as I do right now, and all of a sudden come out of there and feel totally the opposite.
Drain.
And
Do you
but
carry
energy,
a wallet in
so-
your front pocket?
yes,
Okay. I'm so sorry. I have psychic
well, I
Tourette
think it might
syndrome.
be.
I
It might
really
be.
do.
It might be a New York guy thing.
You pee sitting down. Like what else?
Yeah, well, no.
It's funny that Drea mentioned the vortex. Every time I go to Laurel Canyon, and I'm like, I feel like I was just in a vortex. So it's interesting. That's literally what she calls the home.
And you can put the
House.
vortex up
Everyone
around
does.
you. Oh, and
It's so weird. The other day, I went to go take photos there, and I noticed it was hazy, and I felt like I was trapped in time. Like it's like kind of like a hellscape, but it's one that I want to be part of. And then the second I turned on to sunset, it was like bright and sunny and blue skies. I'm like, how is like 1 foot away is the sky different? Then you turn on Laurel, and you're like sucked into this little.
Yeah, I don't like driving up there. I used to drive to UCLA from Pasadena for college, and I used to drive Laurel Canyon. I never liked it.
I love it.
until we did this show, I was clueless as to how many wandering dead people there are all through there, because some of them are seeing it the way it was 100 years ago, not the way we see it. So they'll walk through cars and houses.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel real.
And I'm not jumping script, I swear, but I'll forget it if we don't. Glenn, somebody was trying to pick your pocket. That's why I asked you if your wallet is in the front. But you put up a shield around you before you go out, they're telling
His
me.
face is like, what?
Wow.
New York City.
Yeah, it's near,
Yes, it's true.
but you're
Well,
divinely
what-
protected. It was
Well, you might be picking on something. So one of the little markets
We
that I
can't see your
go
face,
to.
Glenn. Lean to your
hold on a
right.
second.
We can't see your face.
There you
Can you
go.
see me now?
Other way.
no,
No,
Other
it's
way. And then Sit a little
Yeah.
further
Right.
You
back.
were at the 24th Street Flea Market?
There you go.
No, the flea market that I saw that Mama Cass record was actually here on the Upper West Side.
Oh, okay.
And
My old stomping grounds.
I love Upper West.
yeah, that's where I saw that record. But what's interesting is that this little grocery store that I go to in my neighborhood, one of the guys that works in there, he is actually very good at pickpocketing. And he one time tried to do that to me in my back pocket, but there's nothing there. But he was just doing it for a goof.
Right. But here's the thing. I was going to ask you if it was a little market that had like fresh fruits, flowers, or vegetables right in the front to suck you in.
That's what I was picturing
Yes,
too.
yes,
Me too.
yes.
Yeah.
Actually, yes. It's a little market that's almost 100 years old here on the Upper West Side, and
Oh, wow. Which
yes, Zingoni Brothers.
one? Oh, cute.
Yeah.
I love it up there. So the original owner of Drea's house was Mary Astor. She won an Oscar, right? Or an Emmy or something. I don't know. Oh, where'd you go, Drea?
I'm right
And
here.
then,
I'm right here to show you something.
I'm like, they got her.
And then also there was another owner who we didn't mention yet, but and then also Denny Doherty,
Look what she's
who was
holding
from
up.
Mamas in the Cup.
The cigarette.
Oh,
No, it's a Mary Astor
Whoa.
book.
Wait, who's this? Who's that? Okay,
That's
who's that?
Lucille.
How does she
That's
have that book?
Lucille.
All right, my mind's
Oh.
blown.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Look at the
When I
little
bought
bird.
the house, the owner left it for me on the mantle, and he wrote to me. And here he left me a note. Oh, here it is. Oh my God! What the hell? He left me this note, and he said, "Dear Andrea, we've left a few extra things for you. Hope you can use them. We're so glad to know that someone who loves this house." I'm gonna get upset. We were in foreclosure, so I'm sorry. Someone who loves this house as much as we did is carrying on the tradition. All the best to you and Shooter. May the house bring you the same amount of fortune it did us. Cheers, Tom and MB Snow. 7/14/04.
Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and I still have it. Anyways.
There's 2 or 3 locations near your property and other ones that will be divinely protected. The dead people will wander all over the place, but they will not be allowed to come there or wander underground where the tunnels are either in your location and 2 or 3 others. It's almost like there was a sacred ritual or something that was done to always, always, always keep certain areas pristine energetically, and you're in one of the 3.
Can I interject something? Do you know if by any chance if there was somebody, now I realize of all the musical history that's there and a lot of great music that came out of Laurel Canyon, like Carole King and all these wonderful, great songs and stuff. Do anybody here maybe know that if there was somebody named Adina, like it's spelled either like Edina, or I don't think it's with an A. I think it's Edina.
Or possibly start with
That's-
an I.
that's like an-
Adina
that's-
Menzel.
Who?
Could it start with an I like Adina Menzel?
No, it looks like it's spelled, in my mind, it looks like it's spelled Edina.
Edna, maybe?
That's close,
That's a great example.
It's really close, even though I'm looking with that I in there. But
There were some other people that lived here that Denny bought the home from. I haven't even told you guys the story of the house yet. I'm just letting you guys just go crazy.
Oh,
I'll break some of the
True, we don't even know the story.
yeah. We would like to hear the story.
It's not like that. You guys are giving me the story actually, but there's more. There are more people that I know about in this house. So when you were actually talking about Mama Cass, I know you had her birthday, so that's different. I didn't even know you guys were talking about Mama Cass. I thought you were talking about the woman that sold the house to Denny. because Mama Cass never lived here. But there are pictures of her in front of the house, and they all hung out here, but it was Denny's house. But if I won't even go into any of that stuff yet, unless there's more for you guys to say. Susan, you tell me what to do.
It was definitely a lot of sexual activity. It was definitely a lot of sexual activity in that house, though. That I can tell you.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, we got the scoop from Mama Cass the other day when we were having a chat that she had intercourse there. But it wasn't crazy. She said that the drugs were worse. The drugs are worse than the sex. So
I just keep saying government, secret service people, secret agencies infiltrating everything, but obviously they're not telling people they're associated with the government or the FBI or the CIA or the Secret Service. And I feel they're literally infiltrating. It's like 1 out of every 10 properties that were significant from the top all the way down the hill.
interesting.
And then they had to get rid of evidence because people started to want to talk around the get happy, peace and love because everybody was doing drugs. So there were more loose lips, which sink ships, so they had to get rid of them.
Well, this is a theory. This is a theory supported online. So if you look up Laurel Canyon, that's the first thing you're going to see is that they the MK Ultra infiltrated the hippies. They gave them the LSD. I thought that's what I didn't know. This is a premonition. Okay. That's everything I researched. It just came back to the music and how there wasn't even a music scene in LA before Laurel Canyon. There was nowhere, like the Whiskey A Go, none of that was happening. And then in the 60s, all of a sudden, that's where all the bands popped up. Like they had Haight-Ashbury, but they didn't have anything in California. But then it got weird.
Okay.
And they think that the government is the one that did the anti-war. It goes really deep.
I know about that part.
It goes really deep.
The Woodstock and this stuff. And then they're the ones the government planted LSD into the communities, the metropolitan cities.
And the sculptor was there that had all the free love, orgy parties. I have his name written down.
But because they needed honeypot traps.
So many honeypot handlers, probably.
Yep.
And they were anti-LSD. They were claiming they didn't do LSD, but they were like, but all the hippies do LSD. But it's a lot.
They did then.
It's so cool. Like there's music, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Like, of course, it sucked people into a vortex.
Oh, yeah. Well, and when you're not in your right frame of mind, you're going to get sucked into it.
They're trying to control the youth. That's the theory.
100%.
Sounds familiar.
Because they knew that Vietnam was a false flag war. It was fake, phony, and false.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you guys want to know
no better
more
way to
about
control
that?
people through music?
Okay, yeah.
About
Let's hear it.
Vietnam. Jim Morrison, who just lived down the hill, his dad was the main guy on that ship at the Gulf of Tonkin, and they said that the Vietnamese invaded the ship, and nobody invaded the ship. They just invaded Vietnam.
Wait, that's crazy. Because on my way here, I was listening to a podcast that was saying Jim Morrison wasn't as talented as people thought, and he was like a government plant.
Well, his father
And
was
that's why
huge
they never
military.
sounded good live.
He was fucking sexy and gorgeous as hell. Fuck those people.
That's
but
what they were saying on the podcast. They were complaining. They were like, he was only famous because he was hot and a government plant.
And didn't wear underwear, allegedly.
David Crosby, Joni Mitchell, Jackson Brown, you name it. Like every single luminary that was in this mountain had CIA or military ties, including Frank Zappa, who was at the bottom of the mountain. His dad, he was against the hippie movement. Zappa was against the whole thing. And the whole hippie movement, listen to Horowitz or read one of his books. I mean, it was all a giant fucking psyop. And it's sad because I'm a hippie.
That's exactly what I found. Yes, that's what they said. It's all a psyop. That's what I think. I think the new Assassin's a psyop too.
So do I.
I'm just so...
Yeah, it's like, this is the worst psyop we've ever had. McDonald's. It's literally his manifesto read like the Maha RFK Jr. mission statement. I'm like, okay, they're worried RFK's getting in. So now here's this, they know they have to pivot. Let's socialize healthcare. Like to me, it's just crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it strange, guys, that a guy who's been obsessed with fitness all his life is found in a McDonald's? Isn't no one's
Come
questioning
on,
that?
you don't have abs and eat chicken McNuggets.
Right.
Get out
And
of
it's
here.
like, isn't it also strange that we've been hearing about McDonald's over and over lately? Like McDonald's, and Trump did his thing at McDonald's, and then all of a sudden
my
McDonald's
God,
is
that's
switching
Air
over.
Force
Like it's a
One.
narrative coming from all McDonald's is coming back with Trump. What is going on with this McDonald's connection?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I
I just got the chills. That's
Well,
interesting.
I
Burger
think-
King has been left out of the chat.
And I'm a meme for it. I'm a meme saying that they have a meme of me with a McDonald's visor on saying she's the rat. Stupid.
You are now.
This is insane.
It is so crazy right now.
It's the
Yeah,
same thing.
it smells like
Everyone's
shit.
like,
History precedes itself. You have to remember that.
They're just infiltrating it. Now that we have the internet, we're able to see the psyop where the hippies in Laurel Canyon probably didn't. You know what I mean?
Oh no!
And now now we're on pharmaceutical drugs. We're not on LSD.
Well, that was the precursor, right?
Yeah.
Well, the opioid epidemic started in the southeastern United States by design, and then moved slowly to the Midwest, then the Northeast, then the West Coast. So they wanted to get us uneducated bitches all high and messed up first, and get us hooked onto it. And then that was all part of the same thing they were doing with LSD. And Glenn, I have to ask you this, because when we tune into things, it feels like we're making shit up. It feels like we're living out these movies and fantasies and ideas, and wouldn't that make a great script? And it's like, I ain't gonna talk about that because I'm gonna come off looking like Cuckoo for Cocoa Gay Puffs. And then all of a sudden, we do these things, and then y'all are like, bam, bam, bam. It's
Right. It's all coming together.
I mean, isn't that how it feels?
Mm-hmm. A lot of times, sure.
it's like, yep. Yep. Got a
I mean,
point
this is
there.
my favorite afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is another vortex. It sucks you in. This is just a different way.
Yeah, Andrea, did something weird happen with a popsicle, ice cream cone, popsicle sucker? Did you find it
Where?
laying around somewhere it shouldn't have been?
Here? Popsicles.
Yeah, it could be anywhere, but there's something about a sucker or a popsicle. It just came out of left field.
No.
Uh,
I mean, I have
It's
to
gonna be
think.
interesting.
It's gonna be interesting.
Third refrigerator.
Ooh, what's it gonna
It won't
be?
I don't know. It's just a symbol to give you a sign that they're around. And was there a kite? Do you have a kite?
No.
There's something about a kite in a tree or a balloon in a tree, something stuck in a tree and or telephone wire, a kite or something hanging from it. They're pointing up to it.
We had a massive skeleton in the tree that we put up there because my boyfriend's out of his fucking mind. So he's an arborist. So he climbed the tree with like 100-pound skeleton.
They know about it.
It's down.
I like
It's down now.
That might scare the ghosts away, the skeleton.
And did he name
I
it
mean,
Karen
this is the
Carpenter?
Halloween house on the mountain. We're known for Halloween here.
I know that's horrifying. I'm sorry. I'm a comedian.
a comedian.
A comedian.
That's a good brand.
Great
Great
brand.
brand.
Comedians.
Susan.
That's what I usually get called. That's what I usually get called.
Yeah, there you go. We're small comedians at large.
I was
Hey.
like, hanging out with psychics is fun.
Yeah, aren't they fun? I'm so glad this all came full circle. It's amazing. So we have about 20 minutes left before we have to go. But yeah, go ahead, Dre.
Oh no, just
Any
when
more
you
questions?
were talking about Mama Cass's energy and people making fun of her and being misunderstood, Mary Astor's story is a horrific story. Her childhood was horrific. The reason she built this house was not for good reason. And then the women who ended up in this house in the 40s or maybe 50s who sold the house to Denny was also a very sad story, I believe. So I feel like there might have been an ongoing sadness in this house. I was a part of it. I definitely went through very hard times in this house as well. And then I almost lost it in the pandemic over over a lot of, over the vaccine mandates and all of this crazy stuff. And then as I was about to lose the house in this forbearance situation that I took, and I had nothing left to give, like there was nothing I could do. I owed so much money. And I got sort of pushed into a situation where I had I didn't know, I should have not listened to the government, and done other things. And then the house, like, miraculously, it flooded while I was in New York, moving my mother out of her house. And I got back here, and the water was 6 feet up in one of the walls. Sears had left the hose on to my a new refrigerator delivery, and I had just found out I was about to be in foreclosure, so I had to get out of the house. So I had to sell it, and now I can't sell it because it's flooded, and I'd never dealt with insurance before. So now I had to deal with insurance, and I was losing my mind. I was petrified. I've lost many family members. I've lost both of my parents at this point. Like, I don't think that I can even explain the loss of losing your home compared to the loss of the people in my life. They were ready to go when it was time for them to go. But to lose, I'm a single mom, 2 little kids, and I'm just like, this is my only safety net. My house in New York burned down. Wow. So, I'm like, this house was everything to me. And it was the only asset I had. So when it flooded, everyone was like, this is God. This is God's. This is your house. Your house will not let you go. I tried so hard to leave. Susan probably knows this too. I've been moving to Idaho, Savannah. I've been moving to a different state for the last 3 years since the pandemic. And I'm still here. Like, something won't let me go. So I just will say that about this place. But the other people that lived here, well, Mary Astor's story was that her parents used her, and you said a puppet, right? They used her as a way for them to be rich. They built Moore Castle. That's the house that Charlie Chaplin ended up living in. And then Andy Samberg lives in that house now. And it's this beautiful, like, Moroccan. I mean, this house is like a fucking shed compared to the house her parents did, right? So she emancipated herself, marries this guy. The guy turns out to be gay. She has a baby. He's having affairs with all these men. She builds this house to get away from him and have affairs in. So this house was just for affairs and parties. That's what I heard.
That's all the sex you were seeing.
That's crazy.
Wow.
I don't know, because the house isn't really set up for living. Like, it's like we make it work, but it's not like the bathrooms aren't quite right. Like, I never changed anything. Everything is original. A lot of 1920s stuff everywhere. But so she writes this book, her diaries. He finds the diaries. He sues her for the child. So she'd been in court her whole life, getting emancipated from her parents, getting emancipated from him now, and fighting for custody of her son. And they end up publishing her journals, which I still haven't read. Like, I haven't read anything. I don't know anything about her. I didn't want to know anything while I lived here because I didn't want to take anything on. So I kept myself completely cut off from all of it. But one day I was sitting outside on January 19th on my birthday, and a bunch of people are standing outside. And this is years ago when Shooter and I moved in. And I didn't have kids. And they were like, can we come into your house? And I was like, because that's fucking normal, right? Sure, I'm just going to let you in. And of course, this crazy bitch is like, well, why? And they're like, well, this is Denny Doherty's daughter. I'm like, Denny Doherty? Like, why does that fucking mean anything to me? Like, I didn't even know who that was at the time. I bought the house because David Bowie supposedly lived here. He rented.
We didn't get to him.
He rented the house.
I was going to go to that, but we need another show.
Yeah.
And that's another, that was a moment. There was a moment on the day he died where something crazy happened in the house, but I won't get into that. But these people outside, They came, I let them walk through the house, and it was Denny Doherty's daughter and a bunch of hippies. And they go through the house and explain every part of the house. Like apparently there were no, there was a hammock in the living room, and they would put whoever was tripping the hardest on acid in the hammock, and they hoist it up to the ceiling. And he bought the house from Michelle Phillips because she left John at that time, and they were having an affair, and he bought this house for Michelle. But Mama Cass was in love with him. She left him and went back to John, and all these hippies moved into this house, and he would go on the road right after the Monterey Pop Festival, and they canceled themselves out with that music festival. The Mamas and the Papas were the biggest band of that time, but they brought Janis Joplin, The Who, Jimi Hendrix, and all of these big rock stars for the first time on the scene. And all of a sudden, there's a new brand of rock and roll. Folk California dreaming was goodbye, a thing of the fucking past. And they did it to themselves. So he would come home to this house, and supposedly there would be hippies walking down the mountain with all of the artwork, all of the antiques, because the woman who sold him the house was this lesbian nurse who got excommunicated from her family for being gay. And she had tons of money, and she moved in here with her lover, and they would go to Europe all the time, and they would bring home all these antiques. So the fireplace they brought from Ireland, supposedly, but all of these hippies were stealing everything. She sold him the house on her deathbed in the hospital for $60,000, and her lover died in this house. There's another story that a man died in the bathtub. I don't know what that story is, but that's the story, folks.
But we know it's not that Burt.
That's the
we know it's not
shadow
that
figure.
Yeah, it's not the Burt Reynolds looking guy.
I don't know.
Do you know, if I may interject something here? So as you're telling this whole story of the home and everything, there was actually an actress named Frances Bay. She was like one of these old school actresses. If you actually saw the Seinfeld episode, the marble rye, where Jerry steals this marble rye out of the old lady's hands, that's the actress I'm talking about. And she has this kind of a flip. You know, a lot of women, of course, back in the like 60s and 70s had that like flip where even I remember as a kid, there used to be this woman, Rosie, would do the commercial for Bounty. The quicker picker up, and you would see that hairdo, right? There's this lady that has that same hairdo. I would say she looks a little bit more like the actress Frances Bay, but it's not really her. It's just that same hairdo. But I don't know if that woman,
60s.
I don't know if that woman is one of your people, like one of your loved ones that have passed, or is someone also affiliated to that house. But I do know she had that hairdo where it comes to here the length, but there's that flip up a little bit, like that, like.
I don't know. I've heard the house is haunted by lesbian nurses. People have said that they've felt women come up behind them. People who didn't know about the nurses in my house. But I've had people say that, because I let anybody come and stay here when I'd be in New York. And there were people that said that somebody would be trying to make out with them all the time, like trying to kiss them, coming up behind them. And it was a woman.
A female.
And I'm thinking to myself, the old lesbian nurses are hanging out right now. But my ex would also he said he kept seeing a woman in a white uniform in this like subterranean part of the house. And I was like, he didn't even know about the nurses, because I just kept it all under wraps. But there was that. And then, but my nanny, who I took care of for years, she died in the house. But she didn't really, well, sometimes maybe her hair. But I don't know if she's here or not, but.
I just noticed late.
What's her name? Did you say what's her? Oh, I call her Monkey, but her name's Anna. Oh.
There's the M sound from earlier. I know it sounds weird.
She loved this house.
I assumed it would be Mary, but she got a heart connection to you and the children.
Yes. Very.
Wait, how did you say she died?
I don't know how she said she died. And I know, there she is.
Oh,
that's
like my grandmother.
That's Frances
He looks
Bay.
like my grandmother.
Okay, so can you pull that picture back up? That's the actress Frances Bay that I was saying it was in that Seinfeld.
Yeah.
I only know her from that Seinfeld episode with the marble rye, and she was actually in when Jerry's father's trying to become condo board president or something, and she's like, "Oh, it was your son that took the marble ride." But there's this,
Right.
but
I
if
remember that.
but if you pull up another picture of her, maybe where her hair has that little bit of a flip, that's the lady that look kind of like that. That's the image I saw more hanging out around Drea.
Looks exactly like my grandmother.
Yeah, thank you for validating
Exactly
that.
like my.
All right, Grandma's here.
Yeah.
Love it.
All the ladies in my life, I think, are pretty strong vibes.
Oh, that's so awesome. Well,
Yeah, the lady. I just want to say
We're-
this: the lady that just said, "If it is your girl," she was not one of the lesbian ladies that's in the house. No, she wasn't a lesbian.
She would be
Not
against
lesbian
being a
at all.
lesbian.
Not even interested in nursing. I think very respectful of the nursing practice, but definitely had nothing to do with nursing whatsoever. I don't think this lady would even want blood on her hands.
That's probably my grandmother.
You know? She wants to know though. She wants to know why aren't you? She's like holding up the old school TV guide. She's like, "Hey, how come we are not on there?"
Yes, that's her. That's her. Then she loved the TV guide. Was her favorite.
Wow,
She
that's
loved
awesome.
when I was on the TV guide. My mother would be holding up the New York Times crossword puzzle. My grandmother would be holding up the TV guide.
Wait a minute. You were actually on TV, the cover of TV Guide?
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that. That's really awesome. Wow. The only
That's
other
cool.
She
the only other connection that I have to you sort of is, besides that I told you that I had seen Michael, who you worked with the other day, because him and his wife have a little lounge here in my neighborhood. But I also do know Catherine Narducci and Yul Vasquez.
I don't know who. Wait, I do know that name.
Yeah, Yul is an actor. He's also a musician, and I know him because my brother played in a band with him in the late 1980s.
His name, I mean, Catherine, I love more than anything. But
Yeah,
this
she's
older
awesome.
guy sounds familiar.
Yeah, Yul Vasquez. He's done quite a bit of work.
Yul.
Yeah, Yul
I thought you
Vasquez.
said Neil. I have
No,
a painting
Yul.
of his. My boyfriend bought me like a fucking painting that is like feet long.
Yeah, he paints
For
too.
Christmas one year because we love him. He loves my boyfriend's old band.
Nice guy.
Yeah, he's a great artist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Small
that's
world.
It is a small
Oh,
world.
look, there I am.
Oh,
When I was
wow.
a baby.
Aw.
When I was a baby.
I can't believe.
She
First of all, I just want to
stands
say,
out,
I just want to say to you before we go that first of all, I think that was such a great validity that your grandma brought up about this TV Guide. And in all honesty, I swear in my own life, I had no idea that you were on the cover of TV Guide. That is really cool.
I love it. Yes, that was cool.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not really on the cover. You see, it was a fold out.
Well, but still, you're part of it, so that's great.
Yeah, totally.
That's not the
Wow.
only one either. There's a few others here that I'm finding on Google. A bunch of other foldouts and covers and all that. So
That's
New York
amazing.
Magazine
I
cover.
missed the TV guide.
me too.
I was thinking about that the other day.
Yeah, TV Guide would have the what was it? New York Magazine. That was like a regular occurrence because I was such a New Yorker, you know.
Oh, yeah. We don't have good TV anymore. We don't need a guide.
That's true.
I know.
But we have this show, and I'm so glad that you guys could be on it today. And everybody actually, oh, look at that. Mm.
And I love New York. You couldn't have been more spot on.
Now
What's
that
on the
magazine's
dress?
a fucking dirt rag. We're not allowed to look at that magazine.
I'm deleting it now.
Fucking liars. All they do is lie about everybody.
They're like Bobby's biggest haters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. They were his biggest lovers back when we did that magazine.
I
'cause
know.
we
I just did
supported
an
his
article about
Hudson River
that. Yeah,
cleanup.
it's crazy.
Unbelievable.
They loved him before.
Yeah. But Emily, I think that you and I do need to talk about Laurel Canyon because I said to Robbie, my boyfriend, I was like, if I'm not leaving, I'm making a fucking dark documentary about this canyon. It's going to be
Oh my God,
the dark side of the
100%. I mean,
canyon. I'm dying to do it, but I'll never do it by myself. Like I need someone to wrangle me in and make it happen and all this shit. And you're young, I'm an old lady. So I'm going to wrangle you in. And
It's
I'm
weird
gonna
too
be like,
that you're
"Come
on the
let's go."
show.
Huh?
Because it's weird because I know you through Jess and you guys are close. And when she posted that piece, it was like about you, but she really focused on the house. And I didn't know it was Laurel Canyon. So
That was
when
my
Susan told me to come over to your house the other day, I was like walking around the side of the road. I was taking photos of mailboxes with cobwebs in them. And then I didn't know where to go. And then Susan's like, you're supposed to call Drea and go to her house. But I was like, she doesn't live there. She like lives somewhere else. I had no idea. And then didn't you say you go to Houdini house?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just went to the deli. I didn't know where to go.
I wonder if that's the
Wait,
mailbox
what did you had a, what happened?
I wonder if that's the mailbox thing from earlier.
Wait, I took 6 photos of the mailbox, and for some reason, everyone's like, that's the photo that you need to use in the House and Habits article. Like, that's the photo. I'm like, it's just a mailbox with a cobweb.
But well, so that's perfect. But here's the thing,
Let me
too.
see what the number was on the
gasped is
mailbox.
because you already have the name to the documentary. It would be the other side, Laurel Canyon, or you know what I mean? Because we tune into the other side all the time.
There isn't good content. I looked, I sifted the web. There needs to be a better doc about it.
Yeah, you've
There's
got
a
a
book.
great title with the other side of Laurel. Yep. Oof.
Yeah, there's books.
All right. Well, you guys are going to communicate and build something interesting. It should be, I think you will.
Mm-hmm.
The mailbox story, I think, is just worth me telling you real quick what you might have been tipping, because it's funny and you guys will probably fucking laugh, and it's my Godfather moment. But when I moved to this house, the very first problem that occurred was that the neighbor wanted me to move the mailbox from her. I guess it was on her property. She was brand new here too. And my dog, when I got here, my giant Great Dane, had an osteosarcoma on his leg and he couldn't walk. So I was then holding him up. That's why I wanted to know if it was him. I was holding him up to get around everywhere. And this lady, I'm holding him up out in front of my house, and this lady like backs up and she goes, "Excuse me, but I have told you numerous times, or whoever it is that's at your house, to remove the mailbox off my property." And I'm thinking, wow, she's beautiful. This woman's beautiful. I'm like, is this what fucking bitches are like in LA? Like, I've just gotten here. I'm from fucking New York, you know? And I'm holding my dog up and I can't come down to the car because what I wanted to do was grab her by her fucking hair. And I said to her, I said, "Don't worry." I said, "Your mailbox will be removed from my property. And when it does get removed, you're going to fucking know about it because it's going to come crashing through your motherfucking window." And she was like, and I'm holding my dog up and I go, and if I weren't holding this dog up right now, I would come down there and take a bite out of that beautiful fucking face. I was like, "You fucked with the wrong neighbor. Don't you ever fucking talk to me again." She lived here for another 15, 16 years. I never saw her, never spoke to her, right next door to me. So that's the mailbox story.
Here it is. It's 2113.
Wow.
There's
That's why
mail in
I noticed
it.
those
It looks like
ones.
there's black mold too. I do worry about
Yeah. That's fascinating.
Ew.
That's why nobody fucks with me on the mountain. The spirits, they're like,
secrets of Laurel Canyon.
Just don't mess with her.
I mean, if you look back then,
I feel like
As
Susan
opposed-
orchestrated a lot of this madness today.
oh, that's my job.
It's almost like you're a psychic.
I know. But if you look at then as opposed to now, things haven't changed much. Like, it's very interesting to see the correlations between history and now, and like, you know, how the world, I mean, we didn't know all this stuff, but it'll all come out in the wash. Now we'll actually believe it. So
Yes. Oh, it's going to come out. It
It's-
can't not.
Emily's going to make sure of it. So
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
She's like, I'm an 8. I appreciate. I will power through it.
Yeah, I'm detached, but
When you were on the show
shouldn't-
last time, you're like, yeah, I have a real dark side. Like, I really like this stuff. Like, this is my passion.
I know.
Yeah.
It's not good, right?
I know it's
I think
fine.
what runs every one of us here today is curiosity, and there's so many things that never made sense. And when you ask authorities and leaders and politicians and people who are on the leading edge in their industries, why does it work this way? And they're like, it's just the way it works.
Yeah.
Well, why is it not? Why is it unfair? And they're like, it's just the way it works. But it never felt right. And when things don't feel right to empathic, sensitive, intuitive, kind, loving people, we dive in to figure out why. And that's what the other side is really about, whether it's physical or non-physical. And now the meek are going to get their day in the sun because we understand now what the truth is, and the rest of the people are going to figure it out.
Well, I think what Susan's doing on this show is unlike any other podcast because you're basically solving these mysteries intuitively. Like you're kind of like creating this group of people, and it's like we're working backwards through this other dimension to solve the problems.
Yes.
Like I like that we're not using Google. We're like bringing on all these psychics.
We didn't Google
and then
anything.
You work together and like we're somehow getting the same answer.
We're using Gaggle.
Isn't that crazy?
Gaggle.
Well, I was Googling. I did Google stuff because you wanted me to bring the research and everything. I didn't even have to because you already knew.
Oh, yeah.
Someone was speaking through you like a vessel.
Listen, I'm telling you, as soon as I started seeing military bases, UFOs, MK Ultra, I went, no.
And
Right.
that's
He did
literally
kind
all
of
I
look
researched.
like, is this what I'm seeing?
I
Like,
was
that is so
scared.
weird.
I took a laxative.
All right. Well, Glenn, you get the final word.
Yeah,
You have anything to say
Take us
before
home,
we
Glenn.
get going?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show, Susan, and thank you to everyone here. It's nice to meet all of you. I think it's just, I don't know, in regards to the whole Laurel Canyon thing. Is that what you're asking me about the final word?
Yeah, like, I mean,
Anything that's coming to you.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly, because the woman that Drea showed the book of, who I'm not even familiar with as an actress, I mean, Charlie Chaplin, of course, as a silent film era. But that particular woman, the one I saw holding the cigarette, and then it appears that she's on the cover of that book, that I think that lady, that of her energy, her spirit, is going to probably spill the beans on a lot of stuff. I don't think Cass is going to do that. I think Cass is more about really promoting this sort of higher frequency about connecting with love and that divine energy. I think it's still the same feeling I get from her. But whereas the woman on the cover of the book that Drea has, that apparently I was picking up on her spirit, I think she's the one that's going to kind of rattle a lot of cages.
so Drea needs to go into all her history and her diary information and do a deep dive with Emilie to seek the goddess.
Maybe we'll come back after and then see if they can figure it out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't.
We have to
I haven't stopped rattling cages in the last 3 years. So
She might be the cause of you doing that in a good way.
Yes.
I have said, I don't know how I ended up doing what I've been doing in the last few years, that it's not me, because I've always been shy and private and quiet. And now all of a sudden I'm out here talking about this fucking political injustice all over the place.
I think it's her in some way. I don't think she's inhabiting your body or anything, but I do think she's sort of kind of like the way we're inspired by music, for instance, right? And how that inspires you maybe to have how you feel. I think she's having a little bit of some influence, but not, too invasive. But I think it's maybe she's, I think she might be utilizing you as the medium, like the way these spirits channel through guys like Eddie and myself.
I had a producer come to us and say, can we shoot something in your house, Dre? Anything, you guys make it up. And one of my film production partners got stuck in the quarantine with us. So we all shot these 10-minute shorts, and we decided to do it on, they recovered this book with me in the 1930s. And we shot a whole thing about me becoming possessed with the actress of the house. And
That's crazy.
we did that,
crazy.
and it's crazy. I have to find it and send it to all of you guys. I've never seen it, but I know they did it and they shot it. And I got dressed up every night and wore these, like, I wore my grandmother's diamonds, and like it was completely wild.
Grandma that said about you being on TV with the TV guide.
I wore her old jewelry before I had to sell it to save it.
I like your grandma.
save the
She's
house.
actually your grandma. I probably would have liked her if I met her as a physical person, because she just seems so lovely, so inviting. Hello.
Her favorite thing to say is "Go fuck yourself." Smoking.
So
Fuck
lovely.
yourself.
Oh yeah.
No, but I think if she would have just, I think that if she
In a
just met
nice
me
way.
as a person, I think if she met me as a person, though, I think she would have been fine. I don't think she would have said that to me.
No, that's fine. Go fuck
She's not
yourself
telling Glenn to fuck.
in a nice way.
Maybe
I
Yeah.
have her name tattooed on my arm.
Nice.
All the dead people.
Oh, nice. Well, Drea, thank you so much for bringing us into your home and giving us this introspective of the history of Laurel Canyon. I mean, I love that about you. You have so much information, and then also, you know, Emilie for doing historical research and clarifying all the things that I don't have time to look at, and also, of course, these two amazing mediums, Eddie and Glenn, for you know, taking the time to go into whatever is going on in my mind. I don't know how it happened, but anyways, and just if you really, really want to, you know, be supportive of Drea, she's got a website, ultrafree.co, which is where you can find all her beautiful designs, and you can find her at Drea De Matteo on X and at ultrafree also.
I like that.
She's got some really cool stuff.
My boyfriend would want that. Maybe I'll get it for Christmas.
It's all really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
cool
people
stuff.
really like
And
that in
then,
the comments, Drea. They like that necklace.
Oh, they do?
Oh yeah,
Or-
a lot of
or
the comments
no.
for that.
What
No,
is
they
that?
love
I
it.
liked
They
it
love
better
it.
when you
No, they
opened
love
your
it.
shirt, but
Yeah, well, yeah.
What is the necklace?
That's we're selling these. These are our little. This is the protection collection.
Oh, cool. Oh, that's
Ooh,
good.
the
they're cool.
protection
It's a
collection. No,
mafia.
you
It's
didn't.
some mafia vibes, guys. You know what I'm saying? Protect yourself.
This is my mafia
There's that
vibe. It's a
machine
gu-
gun,
it's a
right?
it's a guitar.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
I think Glenn was good too. He brought in like all the music. Like
I
it was
know.
good for the.
no,
Laurel-
he's a musician.
Oh, that makes
Exactly.
sense.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
a perfect Laurel Canyon.
And you can
psychic.
find him at Glenn Klausner, and that has two N's in Glenn. If you're listening to the podcast, Glenn, Glenn Klausner, ALAUSNER, like Santa Claus, but with a K.com, and you can get a reading with him. I don't know, is that right? Your Instagram's Glenn Klausner Psychic Medium as well.
Right.
Sorry, I've got this thing up in front of my face. And yeah, and if you guys are in the New York area, I don't know if you see people in person or if everything's virtual, but I just met you. I don't know I don't know you that well, so I'm not going to invite people over to your house yet. But yeah, you know, check it out. Also, Eddie Connor, who is here in the Glendale area. He you can find him at eddieconnor.com. He's Eddie Connor Soul on Instagram, and he has a YouTube coming out podcast that's very cute. AUT. We love you and appreciate you showing up in person. It's always nice to have somebody here in person, as well as Emilie, who is EmilieKnowsEverything.com, and you can find her on Instagram, Emilie, EMILIE.
I basically only exist on Instagram.
But make sure you spell it right,
but not
because
today because it's down. So
yeah,
I need to find a new
Instagram.
home.
We're not supposed to be on the
digital home.
grid. We're supposed to be here. It's a good thing my show isn't live on Instagram, so that actually worked out for once. But yeah, the universe is chopping off. It worked this morning, I think. I don't know. Anyways, she's on Twitch. She's on Facebook. She's on, YouTube.
Yeah, we can go to the next-
Instagram is
just
the place,
Facebook,
right?
Yeah, until
And
next, I find a new home.
Yeah, and you can go to her website as well. But everybody
That
here
doesn't exist
spells
either
their
anymore.
name very weird. So if you
My digital footprint.
can't find Emilie, MEEMILY, you're in the wrong place because there's an IE at the end. But yes, thank you everybody for coming in, and Kaleb for taking the time producing this from Alabama. And I was going to get you a psychic reading if things didn't go well, but you're going to have to wait till next time.
There was no time for that. Sorry.
I got 30 minutes, then I got to go to the next show. We have another one
Yeah,
right
we have
after
a show
this.
today, just so for all of our fans out there. We got about 12,000 people out there, 15,000. If you want to see a great show today, we have Ask Dr. Drew coming up at 3 p.m. with Dr. Drew Pinsky, my husband. Yes, he is my husband. And thank you, husband, for letting me use this platform for my intuitive stuff. And I love doing it. I missed you guys, and we'll do it again. We're gonna, bring in the new year with some more psychic mediumship. And Robin, thank you, crack producer Robin, for keeping me organized. And then, we're just going to move on, and I might just do a little ad for, since we like to keep the boat afloat from our friends at Paleo Valley, because I'm going to encourage everybody to shop for the holidays. I love the Paleo Valley goodies, 15% off at drdrew.com/Paleo Valley, or if you subscribe, it's 20% off. And the protein sticks are great stocking stuffers. They're also really good. If you know how you get those like baskets of fruit every year in the mail, and then it just kind of goes bad because it's like, okay, I got another thing of fruit. These are a great Christmas gift. Okay, you send them, and if you want to do a year's worth of it, I think they have little bundles and stuff. But anyways, they come in beef and venison, Drew's favorite, and different flavors, and they're also chicken and pork, and I don't know. They come in different flavors. We have originals, some are sausage, buffalo style. If you need a little protein pick me up, and they're low in calories, high in protein, and there's no chemicals or anything like that. So super healthy. And I just suggest that you stock up for your next holiday trip. If you're going to go away, I throw these in my suitcase, and I get hungry, and I'm actually going to eat one as soon as this show's over because I'm really hungry. Protein is the best source of building muscle and getting in shape. And I just lost 20 pounds on V-Shred, but I eat a lot of protein. So this is why I love it. And we also dig the salted caramel bone broth, which I think mixed with eggnog would be a really good source of protein if you want to make a little eggnoggy coffee thing. But, it doesn't have a bone broth taste to it. It has a nice, sweet, lovely flavor. Or you can put it in your rum toddy. I don't know if anybody drinks.
Nothing's better than bone broth. I'd rather consume it like that.
Yeah. So, and you just mix it with water. You could throw a little bit of whatever you do for the holidays, and it gives it that sweet taste. But anyways, go to drdrew.com/Paleo Valley for 15% off your first order and 20% off when you subscribe. Big sponsor, love them. And we also got some cool products, and I'll be sharing these with you guys next time when I get some more. For now, these are my props, and I have to use them myself and tell you how great they are. We have holiday gift giving here, okay? These are the Holistic Goddess holiday gifts for your friends who want to smell good. We have, we want safe and effective things that, are good for your body. I want you to smell the lavender. It's super good. And natural, selected with care. And if you're looking for metabolism support, skincare, or help with digestive, they have the Holistic Goddess girls have all the good things for you. And you can shop with confidence because everything is carefully selected. I've spent a lot of time learning about health and wellness from my husband, and I don't take a ton of supplements, but I trust this stuff. The essential oil kit is good for distressing. I love lavender, eucalyptus, as well as tea tree, lemon, and peppermint. Peppermint for the holidays.
Yeah, you can be like Equinox the gym and throw the eucalyptus.
Yeah, no, I mean,
on the towels.
It's good for you to just have a nice little aromatherapy in your life.
And if you're in Los Angeles, and keep it in your car.
Yeah.
So when you're sitting in traffic, you can just put it on and de-stress.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
For sure. And if you want something for deep sleep, the Dream Ease has exactly what you need in it. It's got some of that, how do we say that? Ashwagandha. Drew makes fun of the way I say stuff, but that stuff works for me. So anyways, this is a nice little
nature's Valium.
If you don't want to take THC or CBD, you could take this. It's a little bit less addictive, and it's called Dream Ease. And then, of course, their organic castor oil roll-on. This is good for your skin, for your face, also your hands. If you're old like me, you want to try it?
I love castor oil.
You rub it on, and it helps moisturize and keep the moisture in.
Wait, this is great.
It smells good. Castor oil to me, it was like when you were a kid, like they would give you castor oil to make you poop. But this is, you rub it on your skin, you can put it on your stomach. It helps with menstrual cramps and stuff like that. And they have a big line of, over at Holistic Goddess, they have all these techniques to make you healthy without any chemicals
gift.
Yeah, and this, it's a nice little gift. I like it.
That's a good gift for anyone.
So anyways, go to doctor.com/holistic. You'll get 15% off, or use the code Susan15 if you just wander on there somehow, and you'll get 15% off. Holisticgoddess.com. Thank you very much. We love their products and all the other Dr. Drew sponsors. Go to doctor.com/sponsors, and you can support the show, keep me afloat. I'll keep coming back if I can sell one or two of these packages, and then I can pay Kaleb's and he can feed his children. So
they like that.
McDonald's.
But I'll get you guys some of this stuff too. I'm gonna make a phone call and get some Christmas goodies. But thanks again, and until next time, everybody have a great holiday season, and I hope to see you again, in the new year.
Thanks, Susan.
The Wellness Company knows that taking charge of your family's healthcare is a top priority, and that is why they are constantly innovating to deliver the products and services to help you be rationally ready for an emergency. They've added a medical kit for kids to treat over 20 childhood illnesses: nausea, vomiting, allergies, asthma, bioterror, God forbid, croup ear infections, lice, and more. And you can also order the kids kit with an EpiPen. Carefully sourced, great price. If there's a risk of anaphylaxis for your kids, you want that EpiPen. That can be in all kits, each customized for a different purpose. It comes, of course, with a telemedicine consultation and a guidebook, and you can replenish the meds up to 2 years after the date of purchase. So go to drdrew.com/2WC for 10% off any medical emergency kit or supplements. That is drdrew.com/TWC.